Hi, everybody. I'm Shayna Strom. I run the Washington Center for Equitable Growth. At Equitable Growth, we're always asking the question, how do we ensure more prosperity in society, and how do we make sure that everyone, especially working people, can reap the rewards of that prosperity? We're very aware that technological progress can drive economic growth. But as we know, the outcome of that progress, including who it benefits, is a policy choice. As a result, if we were to offer one policy to political leaders to make working people's lives better, it would be to use government's substantial power of the purse, power of procurement, and power as a data collector to promote equitable, empowering, and dignified development and deployment of AI. And I should note also that some of the ideas on this build on the work of Daron Acemoglu, who's the economist and Nobel Prize winner who's on our organization's steering committee. First, government could provide funding to incentivize the creation and deployment of AI that improves workers' lives, enhancing job quality, expanding skills, safety, and productivity, rather than replacing employment. The president could allocate additional funding to public research agencies like NIST, the NSF, NIH, and use both the agency's funding criteria as well as the researchers who do work at those agencies to shift research and development priorities towards worker-centered innovations. Since AI needs to leave space for workers to have both dignity and power in the workplace, public funds could be conditioned on formal roles for unions and other worker representatives to have a say in the deployment of AI in their workplace, and even potentially to play a role in enforcement. Second, since the federal government's procurement power is significant, the government itself must also commit to using and purchasing worker-enhancing AI rather than primarily worker-replacing AI. If the demand is there, that can shift the supply. At the same time, other tax incentives could be provided for private firms that deploy worker-enhancing technology. Finally, the government could use its survey and data collection capacities to build more worker-level information on the adoption and uses of AI in order to make sure that society has real-time information. Such data could also be used to help identify places where workers are at risk of being de-skilled or displaced, and to develop programs to support those workers. And I should give a shout out to Jean and to Jean Sperling and to Jacob Liebenluft, who are going to be putting together a piece on this, and Jacob is also putting together another piece for Equitable Growth on displacement of workers. In short, we have a message for the next president. AI's potential for both good and bad is within your control. Seize it.